I want to make a video defending Paul. I've noticed some people think he's a false prophet who don't maybe understand his writings that well. So I made a little list of 5 things that Paul said that are sort of controversial to people who are questioning him and his legitimacy. So one of the things is about the law. So Paul said that we fulfill the law in a new way in the spirit. And somebody thinks that because Christ said not one iota, one dot of the law will disappear until everything is accomplished, they think they are contradictory, but that's not true. Christ fulfilled the law in the spirit. If you read the Bible, he's constantly arguing with the Pharisees and law teachers, who think that they are fulfilling the law by following the letter of the law. But Christ is doing it in this new way, in the spiritual way. And that's what Paul is saying here. So he doesn't contradict Christ at all. And another part is Christ says not to judge others, and then Paul says that you're absolutely supposed to judge the sinners in the churches, in your own community. And that's true also. And that's because it's about correction. When Christ says you're not supposed to judge others lest you be judged, it's like this warning to somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. But inside a church, where everybody's a brother, everybody's a sister, they're supposed to set each other right when they're sinning. That you're not supposed to sit there quietly when something weird is happening. Like, how do you think the rapes happen in those churches? It's because people notice something weird and they don't speak up. So Paul is absolutely right that you're supposed to judge people in your own communities. It's called the spirit of truth, not the spirit of look away. Another thing is Christ came for the sinner. He ate with them. And Paul says, don't even associate with them, don't even eat with them. And this makes sense when you understand that he started this church and he's speaking out of love for them. They are like newborn believers. I know Christ went and ate with the sinner, but these new religious people are like babies. Like, you understand what I'm saying? They're not supposed to go into the brothel to hang out with the sinners. They will become tainted by the world and corrupted. Yeah? So it's like protecting them. He's doing it out of love. He formed this church himself, and he knows what kind of people they are. Of course he can guide them in this way. And the next problem people have with him is in keeping with the same vein. Christ said that don't call anybody on earth your father, because you only have one father, and that is in heaven. Now, Paul says to this new church he formed that he is like their spiritual father in Christ, okay? And they're supposed to imitate him. The reason he gets away with saying this is because there was no New Testament, for example. So there was no book he could point to it and said, this is the Father, this is where he's revealed. No, he is the one who came as an emissary of Christ. And he was in Christ when he did it. And Christ is in the Father. And if they are in each other, in this spiritual type of sense, that is in the heavenly base, then it makes sense that they would call him a spiritual father. The priests of today kind of try to do the same thing. Like, you can listen to their explanations. They're not in heaven. But Paul would have been. He was with Christ in spirit, in the spirit of truth. So it's not really breaking the law, the commandment of Christ, that don't call anybody on earth your father. That's what the priests in today's churches are doing. They are calling them father here on earth, not in the spirit. You understand? Because they're not really spiritual fathers to anybody. And the last thing is about women. Paul said it is shameful for women to teach men. And what that means is not how the world reads it, which means, he's being sexist. This is about, feminism didn't exist and it didn't fix the world yet. That's not what it's about. It's about it being shameful for men who Paul was trying to teach. It's shameful for men to be taught by women because men are supposed to be taught by Christ and his lessons and his teachings. He's the Messiah. He's the one we're supposed to follow as men and carry our own cross. Paul is not a false prophet. Okay? God bless anybody who watches this video.